Don't put down your brush, son.
A father's letter to his son.
My dear son, your mother told me last night. What you decided, that you're giving up on art school. She tried to say it softly as if the tone of her voice could make it hurt less. But the words still landed like a stone in my chest. I remember the day you first held a paintbrush. You were 13. We were in the old shed and you found that dusty box of watercolors your aunt had left behind. The paper was yellowed, the brushes stiff with age, but you painted for hours until the light faded. You didn't even notice the time passing. That was the day I knew art had found you, and that it wouldn't let you go. Since then, I've watched you pour yourself into every stroke. While other kids were out late, you were in your room, bent over a sketch pad. While we slept, you stayed awake, working on canvases that covered your desk and floor. You gave up weekends, birthdays, and summer breaks to sit in parks and alleyways sketching strangers and sunsets. Then came the letter of acceptance from the Art Academy. I'll never forget how you read it aloud, your voice trembling. The tuition was high, far beyond what we could easily afford. But you said, "Dad, I'll make it work. I'll find a way." I believed you because you believed it too. But now you've decided to stop, not because of the cost, but because you think you lack the talent. I understand that fear. I know what it's like to look at your own work and feel it's not good enough. I know how doubt can grow like a shadow until it covers everything you see. But son, you must understand something. Talent is not a fixed gift. You are born with or without. Talent is shaped by persistence, sharpened by mistakes, and strengthened by years of doing the work. If you stop now, you are not proving that you lack talent. You are simply refusing to give it the time it needs to grow. When I was your age, I had a dream too. I wanted to be a writer. I wrote stories in the dark hours after my factory shifts, sending them to magazines that never replied. Then your grandfather got sick and I told myself I would pause my writing to work more hours. But that pause turned into years, and years became decades. Now I still have a family I love, but I also have a shelf full of unfinished pages that no one will ever read. I am not telling you this to shame you, but to warn you. Dreams can survive hardship, but they cannot survive silence. If you set your brushes down now, they will wait for you for a while. But one day, when you finally reach for them again, you may find they no longer feel the same in your hands. I know the road you're on is hard. Your classmates seem to progress faster. Some people say only born artists make it. You see the flaws in your work and believe they mean you aren't meant for this. But I've seen people with less natural skill than you grow into masters because they stayed with it, learning, practicing, refusing to stop. Son, I would rather see you working late in a small studio, covered in paint, than see you sitting behind some desk, earning a steady wage but feeling empty inside. I am not asking you to be reckless. I am asking you to be brave. Take a break if you must. Rest, try new styles, learn from others, but do not close the door. If you have to work another year before starting art school, then work. If you have to take classes part-time, then take them. If you have to paint on scraps of cardboard when you can't afford canvas, then do it. Because the years will pass whether you chase your dream or not. And I promise you the years feel longer when you live without purpose. One day when you are older, your own child may come to you with a dream that feels impossible. They will look at you, searching your face for guidance. What story will you tell them? That you once had a chance, but you thought you weren't good enough, or that you kept painting, even when the odds were against you. If you truly, deeply decide that art is not your calling, I will accept it. I will still be proud of you. But if you are walking away only because it is hard, then you are not choosing peace, you are choosing regret. I still remember your words the night you got that acceptance letter. Dad, one day I'll have my paintings hanging in a gallery. Just watch. Well, son, I'm still watching, and I still believe. Your loving father, Dad.
It's time to study new words in context. 1. Shed. Definition: a small building, usually made of wood or metal, used for storing tools, garden equipment, or other items. Example: he found an old box of paints in the shed behind the house. 2. With age. Definition. A phrase meaning as something gets older, or because of the passing of time. Example. The brushes had grown stiff with age and were difficult to use. 3. Persistence. Definition. The quality of continuing to try, even when something is difficult or takes a long time. Example. Through persistence, she finally mastered the art of portrait painting. 4. Flaws. Definition. Small faults, weaknesses, or mistakes in something. Example. He looked at his painting and saw many flaws, but others admired its beauty. 5. Steady. Definition. Regular, constant, and reliable, not changing suddenly. Example. After years of practice, her hand became steady enough to paint fine details. 6. Scrap. Definition. A small piece of material left over or not considered valuable. Example. When he had no canvas, he painted on scraps of cardboard. 7. Odds. Definition. The chances or likelihood of something happening, often when the situation is difficult. Example. She kept working toward her dream, even though the odds were against her.
Comprehension questions. 1. What is the son's dream? Answer. To become a painting artist and attend an art academy. 2. How old was the son when he first started painting? Answer. He was 13 years old. 3. Where did the son find his first paints and brushes? Answer. In the old shed, inside a dusty box of watercolors left by his aunt. 4. What condition were the brushes and paper in when he first used them? Answer. The paper was yellowed, and the brushes were stiff with age. 5. What happened the day the son received the Art Academy's acceptance letter? Answer. He read it aloud with a trembling voice, and told his father, "Dad, one day I'll have my paintings hanging in a gallery. Just watch." 6. Why is the son deciding to give up his dream? Answer. Because he believes he doesn't have enough talent to succeed as an artist. 7. According to the father, what is talent made of? Answer. Persistence, mistakes, and years of practice and learning. 8. What was the father's dream when he was young? Answer. To be a writer. 9. Why did the father give up his own dream? Answer. His father, the son's grandfather, became sick, so he worked more hours and never returned to writing. 10. What warning does the father give about stopping art now? Answer. If he stops painting, his passion may fade and not feel the same when he returns to it later. 11. What does the father say about people with less natural skill than his son? Answer. Some became masters because they kept practicing and refused to give up. 12. What alternatives does the father suggest instead of quitting? Answer. Taking a break, resting, trying new styles, learning from others, working another year before starting, studying part-time, or painting on cheaper materials. 13. What does the father say will happen, whether or not his son follows his dream? Answer. The years will pass anyway, but they feel longer without purpose. 14. What does the father say the son might tell his own child one day? Answer. Either that he gave up because he thought he wasn't good enough, or that he kept painting despite the odds. 15. How does the letter end? Answer. The father reminds his son of his earlier words about having his paintings in a gallery, and says, "Well, son, I am still watching, and I still believe."